Western Slope. You're watching KREX News at 6, your community connection.
Good evening. Thank you for watching KREX News. I'm Ariana Boss.
And I'm Bernie Lang. Yesterday, the Mesa County Sheriff's Office shared a statement about an ICE detainment made after a traffic stop. It happened outside of Loma on June 5th. The individual is a 19-year-old University of Utah student who is currently being held at a detention center in Aurora.
Our Kyle Kawamoto has more on this developing story.
Diaz Goncalves, who was pulled over by the Mesa County Sheriff's Office earlier this month, but later was detained by ICE agents. According to numerous reports, Caroline, who is originally from Brazil, filed an asylum application that is pending. I spoke with legal experts to find out what's next for Caroline.
I was born in Brazil.
That was the voice of 19-year-old Caroline Diaz Goncalves, who was pulled over for a routine traffic stop. It would be moments later she was detained by ICE.
I fear that these could become more common. I hope they're not. I hope this isn't a harbinger of what's to come. Because a person who's studying here, a person who's making positive contributions here, it seems like that person shouldn't suffer the heavy hand of enforcement.
We tried to reach out to the Mesa County Sheriffs, and they tell us in a statement about the arrest stating, quote, "Through our administrative investigation, we have learned that the federal representatives within the communication group began using the material collected for drug interdiction efforts to exfoliate immigration information for the purposes of ICE enforcement. This use of information is contradictory to Colorado law and was initially intended for the purpose of reducing illegal drug trafficking in Colorado. Unfortunately, it resulted in the later contact between ICE and Ms. Diaz Goncalves." End quote.
You're from Utah? How long you lived in Utah for?
Like 12 years.
It's very unusual unless the person has a serious criminal record or unless the person has to pass through a jail. And when I say pass through a jail, usually this is a state level, although it could be federal level. ICE agents do check when people are booked into jail.
According to numerous reports, Caroline, who is originally from Brazil, filed an asylum application that is pending.
A person with a green card should not be being deported. A person with a process in place, that an asylum application in place, unless they got involved in a super serious crime, why are you interrupting this process? So we tell them, be really, really careful.
Mark tells me the next steps for Caroline would be a master calendar hearing, where the judge outlines the rights of non-citizens. She can request a bond hearing showing she poses no danger or flight risk. The Mesa County Sheriff's Office also said in a statement, "We would like to reiterate that we were unaware that the communication group was used for anything other than drug interdiction efforts, and that we have since removed all Mesa County Sheriff's Office members from the communication group." We also reached out to ICE for comment, but we have not heard back yet. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right, thanks, Kyle. The Mesa County Sheriff's Office also said in its statement, "We would like to reiterate that we were unaware that the communication group was used for anything other than drug interdiction efforts, and that we have since removed all Mesa County Sheriff's Office members from the communication group."
Now, another story developing this afternoon. Several Colorado Safeway grocery stores across our state are now on strike. Strikers say that they're fighting against unfair labor practices, chronic understaffing, and allegedly frozen wages.
One of those stores where workers are striking is in Grand Junction on 29 Road. Alex Rivero has reaction from the strike from the Grand Junction consumers.
I knew that they were picketing on something, but I didn't know what.
Shop here. I come here all the time, and it's actually very sad that they closed the store.
Employees of this Safeway at the corner of 29 Road and Patterson are on strike, joining other stores in the state calling for change.
They've got to be paid a fair wage, and they feel like they're not.
Flyers were handed out at the demonstration stating Safeway Albertsons spent more than $8.9 billion in dividends and stock buybacks. They claim chronic understaffing leads to higher prices paid at the counter than what is posted on the shelves. Added that Safeway Albertsons is demanding slashes to health care and pension funding. Western Slope Now reached out to Safeway for comment on the strikes and was given a statement saying Safeway Colorado remains committed to productive discussions with the striking union and is disappointed the union chose to strike. At the demonstration was Laura Houston, who brought cold treats and water to the demonstrators. Houston talks about why she supports the strike.
And I totally support that. You know, the corporation's not going to look out for the workers. The big guy's not going to look out for the workers. The workers look out for the workers.
When asked if the strike made her rethink where she shops, Houston said,
I'm not crossing the picket lines, so I will take my business elsewhere.
Alex Rivera, KREX News.
The Grand Junction Police Department says an unusual scam is targeting local businesses.
While the GJPD are no strangers to combating scams, they tell us this scam is unique because business owners are now the target. Scammers, officials say, are using spoof phone numbers and posing as bank representatives to scare victims into giving sensitive business account information. The effects on the community, they told me, have already been devastating.
We have had businesses in total lose over $500,000 to these scams. Once the transaction is authorized through an ACH, an electronic transaction, it's basically gone. It's very difficult to recover those funds.
So what type of information are the scammers hunting for? Account login credentials, they say, codes called transaction authentication numbers, also otherwise known as trans, and tokenized account numbers. Now, I wasn't familiar with those terms, but officials tell me the data can be used to easily transfer the target's funds into fraudulent accounts with little possibility for recovery. How do you know the caller is really from your bank? Well, the GJPD tells us there are telltale signs of a scam.
Banks are not going to call and ask for sensitive financial information from an individual or from a business. They're not going to call and make urgent pleas for them to act quickly, or else they're going to be out of money. While a bank and a legitimate representative from a bank may contact somebody at the business, they're going to be able to provide the right information.
If you've been the victim of a scam, GJPD says they're happy to take the report, but this level of crime actually needs to be handled at the federal level. So officials encourage you to notify your bank of any unauthorized activity and report scams to either ic3.gov or the Federal Trade Commission.
Now to what's making some news around the region. A shuttle bus crashed near Denver International Airport earlier today. We're hearing about 5 people were injured, including one person sustaining some serious injuries. According to Denver police, there were 6 people on the bus. And Highway 6 over Loveland Pass remains closed after a large mudslide early Sunday morning. CDOT says 15 to 20 feet covered both lanes of mud and debris. Crews are nearly done with the first stage of the cleanup. A group of cyclists tried to ride up the pass, but they were turned away.
We had about 4 miles up the road, and yeah, this was the start of a big climb, but I guess we'll have to try again next time, next weekend.
CDOT says they have no indication when the road crews will be able to clear the debris and reopen the road.
Remember that hailstorm that blew through Grand Junction a little more than a week ago?
You certainly do.
I certainly do. I think there's a viral video of me circulating online where I look like a drenched rat caught in that hailstorm. But I and we should all be grateful that it wasn't as bad as this other Colorado hailstorm. Now take a look at the damage that was done last night in Milliken, Colorado. That's in Weld Country, a little southeast of Fort Collins. Huge hailstones pummeled vehicles and homes. Now we're told parts of eastern Colorado are under the risk of severe weather once again for the afternoon, with possible thunderstorms, hail, and heavy rain. Several trees were also damaged in the storm, with leaves and branches scattered on the ground.
It was at 3:30 in the morning. It sounded like horses running across the roof of the house. It was crazy loud. And so I came out and I looked out the window and saw golf balls basically falling out of the sky.
The largest hail recorded so far was 2.75 inches in diameter in Milliken. Meanwhile, there have also been 1 inch in diameter hail reported, about the size of a quarter, across other parts of northern Colorado. Tuesday has been some relief.
Well, I'll give you a little hint for the rest of my forecast. We're not getting any of the rest of that. We are going to see heat here, dry skies, and a little bit of a return to that fire weather later on this week. Right now, we're in those 90s. I think we're going to get into the triple digits once we get later into the week. I'll tell you more about that later on in my full forecast.
Have you ever thought about that your oral condition could be affecting your overall health? At JP Dental, we know how to guide you through that.
We have many different techniques and skills that allow us to do some pretty significant bone grafting in order to repair and reconstruct, not only smile and aesthetically, but really get them back to eating normal again.
We make sure that we do a full medical evaluation as well as an oral evaluation, and we have the expertise in understanding how they interrelate with each other.
Talk about fireworks! Check out these offers during the 4th of July sale at Denver Mattress. Light up your sleep life with $100 off any Dr. Choice Original or $200 off any hybrid. Save $500 on the best-selling Tempur-Breeze and score a $300 gift. And check out the Summit for only $299.99. And best of all, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend, or get 60 months no interest and free shipping. It's the 4th of July sale, on now at Denver Mattress.
This weather segment is brought to you by Veritas Injury Lawyers, where truth wins, clients prosper, and justice reigns.
Hey, right here in western Colorado, sunny skies, unless you're out towards those more mountainous regions. That moisture, though, it's not getting us here anytime soon, down towards the more valley regions of the western slope. You can see here 93 degrees outside in Grand Junction, and that humidity, man, we are getting into those single digits still, 7% humidity. It's not going up anytime soon either. These next couple of days are going to continue to be hot and dry, and that includes those overnight hours. We are running above average, of course. Looking behind me, you see 8 p.m. it's going to be 87 degrees. We're getting down to 71 at 11 p.m. You know, those low to mid 60s, 64 degrees is going to be our low this evening at 4 a.m. tonight. Let's look at our pollen outlook real quick. A little bit of sniffles over these past couple of days, at least for me with that grass allergen. Moderate out right now for those grass allergies. Behind me here, you can see these wind gusts. What do those mean? Well, they've been the main driver of these fire conditions these past couple of days. Right now, 21 miles per hour in Grand Junction, towards coming down from our northwest. 23 miles per hour in Delta, 25 in Montrose. If you're towards our south and you're in Delta or Montrose counties or anywhere else down towards the San Jose Mountains, you're still in that red flag warning. That's lasting until 8 p.m. this evening because of those more intense winds we've seen towards our south. That will go away tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to see a little bit of relief. You're going to see this low pressure system behind me. It's going to move towards our east, the eastern side of the mountains. Not a problem anymore. Over here towards the west, though, this high pressure zone, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. But that low passing through is going to mean we're going to see a little bit lower temperatures tomorrow. A bit of relief, still not going to be much of an improvement. These red flag warnings are not going away anytime soon. So let's review here. What are those qualifiers for a red flag warning? Well, we're going to see these warm temperatures, of course. Now, it's not an explicit qualifier by the National Weather Service, but it's to be expected. You can see humidity or under 15%, under 15% and gusts up to 25 miles per hour here for those red flag warnings. Those are going to be the main things that our officials are going to be looking at. Those wind gusts are going to pick back up over these next couple of days. Again, a bit of a break on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's where you're going to see those gusts return. You can see overnight on Wednesday, not much going on here. Once you get to Thursday, though, we're getting up to those 20, 25 mile per hour gusts, especially towards our south. Delta, 28 miles per hour Thursday at 6, 21 in Montrose, 22 in Nuclear. You're going to see those winds shift directions coming up from the southwest. That means more of that drier air that we saw that brief break from as that low is moving through. Our fire weather risk is going to go up as we head to later on into the week. You can see behind me here, Thursday, not much going on until you get to later in the day. Let's look at our futurecast because, again, going to get a little bit cooler over these past couple of days. We're only seeing low 90s today. Wednesday, we're going to see mid 90s, getting up to 92 at 6 p.m. in Grand Junction, 79 Glade Park, 92 over in Delta. Wednesday, again, heading to Thursday, that's when you're getting these triple digits once again. 101 degrees, 5 p.m. on Thursday, 99 on Delta. So let's talk about that summer solstice. It's only a couple days away, right? This Friday. That's not going to be the main thing you're going to be concerned with, though, is that longest day of the year. It's going to be those triple digits because they're sticking around once you get to Thursday and Friday. You can see behind me here, 100 degrees is my high on Friday, 97 on Saturday, 94 on Sunday. Montrose, you're getting that brief cool down you're going to see on Wednesday and Thursday. That'll return Sunday into Monday.
The Road Report is brought to you by Montrose Ford Nissan.
Join us on the famous Leadville Railroad. This historic train ride takes you on an unforgettable trip through the heart of the Rockies for an afternoon of adventure, relaxation, and sightseeing. Our scenic train rides are a perfect place to bring families closer together while immersing them in the natural beauty and rich history of this picturesque region. Enjoy the spectacular Colorado scenery. Even meet the engineer. Make memories that will last a lifetime. Tickets available at LettvilleRailroad.com.
Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. We got a rough start to the week with winds topping out at 65 miles per hour and a 65% chance of rain. So don't forget your umbrella or just call in sick. But don't worry, there are clear skies ahead with 65 degrees as your high and low for the rest of the week.
Ma'am, you can't be in here. Security!
If you're turning 65, call 970-MEDICARE at 970-999-1111.
Two best friends.
I'm not your best friend, Dave.
If you came here looking for laughs.
Can I talk to you for a second? I can't hear you, but no.
We've got some good news.
We came to tear it up.
Would you stop being such a people pleaser?
Well, if it makes you happy.
Stop it.
You're in the right neighborhood.
Boom! Hey! Doesn't get any better than this. Oh, well. Let the fake friendliness continue.
People do terrible things, but being honest, I think most people are good.
There it is!
There's something I have to do.
What?
This.
Madeline Matlock? Who the hell are you?
You're loyal because it's who you are.
Group hug.
No, group hug.
Yes, just not you.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Hormone Health and Wellness. Let us help improve your quality of life. You're watching KREX News.
Welcome back. Russia launched one of its deadliest assaults in months on Ukraine's capital overnight. An American is among the dead.
CBS's Tina Kraus reports from London.
Waves of Russian drones and missiles tore through Kyiv overnight, killing more than a dozen people, including a U.S. citizen. Ukraine's president called it one of the most terrifying strikes on the capital, with Russia firing more than 400 drones and nearly 36 missiles. Explosions hit nearly 30 locations across the city, ripping through schools and homes, including Melania Pototska's dorm room. I was studying for exams, she says, so I ignored the air raid alert. I'm glad to be alive. The Kremlin said Tuesday it's unclear when Russia will hold any new peace talks with Ukraine.
What Ukraine is experiencing is not just war, it's genocide.
On the sidelines of the G7 summit in Canada, Ukrainians demonstrated, urging world leaders to take decisive action to end the war.
It seems like the history never taught people anything, and we're just doing the same mistakes.
President Trump was set to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky Tuesday, but left the G7 early because of escalating tensions in the Middle East. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
President Trump said earlier this month it might be better to let Ukraine and Russia fight for a while, quote, before pulling them apart and pursuing peace.
But European leaders are urging Trump to pressure Russian President Vladimir Putin into accepting a ceasefire. Well, developing this afternoon, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has been taken to a Washington, D.C. area hospital by ambulance. The State Department says she suffered an allergic reaction and was taken to the hospital after an abundance of caution. They say she's alert and talking at the hospital. No word on what may have led to that reaction. We'll be right back.
This June, buy a Ford vehicle and help celebrate an important additional donation to these causes. That's Ford building together. Ford Motor Company, from America for America.
Mesa County Stormwater Division is committed to protecting our rivers through the maintenance of our stormwater sewer system. When rain washes down the storm drains, it can collect pollutants such as trash, fertilizers, pet waste, and automotive fluids. These pollutants are known as illicit discharges and are carried directly to our waterways without treatment, which degrades water quality and can result in fish kills and algae blooms. Please help Mesa County keep our rivers clean by properly disposing of waste and reporting illicit discharges to our stormwater hotline.
For over 25 years, MAPCO Paving has been laying it down right on Colorado's western slope. As a third-generation family-owned business, we bring decades of experience and reputation built on honesty, quality, and fair pricing. We handle it all: residential driveways, commercial lots, chip sealing, seal coating, and more. No job too big or too small. And hey, if MAPCO doesn't do your paving, it's your own asphalt. Call now for a free estimate today.
Your front row seats to your favorite sports start right here at KREX. We're bringing you all the best sports coverage, all the games, all the scores, and all the team coverage you want. We've got the exclusive interviews with players, coaches, and we're there to catch all the incredible action.
Folks, what a time it is to be a sports fan in Western Colorado.
Because when it comes to sports, we've got you covered. Watch your local sports only on KREX News Channel 5.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. It's a commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
People living in a particular neighborhood near Los Angeles are dealing with a peacock population